Welcome everybody out to week 7 of our mastermind. I am so excited to have you guys on this call. This is going to be fantastic. I've added some additional bonuses that I was not planning on for this mastermind. I wanted you guys to be able to experience what it means to really open up this opportunity to help other people to find an audience. So, we've been going through Drive, understanding what drives people. And just as a quick review for those who are just joining in, your directors are looking for lifestyle. Your relators are looking for the community. Your intellectuals are looking for the systems. Your validators are looking to be admired. And your executives are looking for proof. So when you're out there finding an audience, you got to keep in mind who is your ideal audience. So I'm going to teach you an acronym called MAPS. It's how you're going to find the money. So it's a very simple acronym. I want you just to follow along with me here. So it's M, P as in Paul, S as in Sam, times A equals any amount of money you want to make. So your message time plus your product or your service times your A equals any amount of money you want to make. So when you look at it, what is the M, the P, and the S? It is your message, your product, and your service. So when you think about any type of company, I've bought and sold companies, I've had companies that I've built and sold. It comes down to one of three categories. Either they're a message company, a products company, or a service company. Now, they can be 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3, but they're going to be one of these 3. So let's look at what a message company is. A message company is your charities, religions, political agendas, saving the dolphins, environmental. They're looking to engage people in a message. So authors, coaches like myself, that's a message type company. Then you got your products companies, your retail stores, your Amazons, your Nike, Coca-Cola, Bose, anyone who's selling a physical, tangible product. Then you have your service companies. These ones are easy to remember. Just think of a monthly cell bill, a monthly service call. So your cell, your internet, Pandora, even a handyman or electrician, someone who's going to charge you for a service for them to come out and help you in any way, shape, or form. So when you look at making money, X marks the spot. You got to find the X on the map. Now, I don't want 1X. I want 10X. I want multiple streams of income. I want multiple sources of revenue. So the A in the equation is the audience. What is or who is your ideal audience? So when you think about your ideal audience for a second, think about that type of person. Think about their demographics. What is their age? And I want you to take some notes. Write this down. What is their age? Are they male or female? What is their religion? Where do they live? Where do they hang out? Write these notes down. This is going to be very important. It's like playing hide and go seek. If you can find out where they're hiding, you can seek them, find them, and make a lot of money. So go ahead and text me right now, area code 951-973-3408. That's 951-973-3408. Let's see what type of audience you have identified with, the people that you are connecting with. So some of you are texting me right now. Their ages, 23 to 40. They're male or female. They work with kids at home still. They're 30 to 65. They have an IRA available. That's important, knowing where the money is. They're not broke. That's important to know as well. Getting different things on different ages. Yes, this is exactly what you want to do. Sit down and craft. Like if you get that craft out, the most perfect customer, write that down. What are their hobbies? Knowing your drive, whether you're a director, relator, intellectual, validator, or executive, knowing what your drive is, what's their drive? If you're finding the ideal audience, what's their drive? So me personally, I'm a director, so I'm all about lifestyle. So I love to work with one-on-one clients who are also directors or executives, even relators. I find that I can connect with them at any time. So finding those people who are perfect for you is going to be really helpful when I show you how to go out and find them. So here's the equation for making money. MPS times A equals any amount of money you want to make. So for example, let's say you take away the M, the P, and the S, the message, the product, the service. All you have is audience. You have YouTube. YouTube does not have a message, a product, or a service. Now they are shifting that. They are changing that into music services and their other services. But for 10 years, they didn't have a service. They only had eyeballs. So all they could do was sell to advertisers. They sold eyeballs for a living. That's all they did. Now take away audience, and you're left with three initials: PMS. You're anxious, you're stressed, you're exhausted, you're frustrated, you're angry. That's what it feels like when we don't have an audience. If you've gone to any of the regional seasons with Renatus and you look at how Bob closes out his speech, he does this Daryl and Daryl exercise where one Daryl goes out and finds people. The other Daryl comes up with concerns about his message, his product, and his service. As an entrepreneur, and I've done this 1,000 times, I'm so focused on my logo, the color of my logo, my Excel spreadsheets, my PowerPoint slides. I'm not actually actively out there looking for an audience. There was a 4-year stint in California where I lived where I would go in my office every day and I'd be busy. Oh man, I would be busy. But I never really tapped into an audience. When I discovered this equation and I created this equation, I realized that that's what was missing. So let's look at audience. Take Oprah Winfrey. When she was on TV every single day, or even an Ellen DeGeneres, they have viewers in the millions every day. Well, that led to a net worth of $1 billion for Oprah, simply because she had a large audience. Take a school teacher. They have an audience of, say, roughly 30 kids. They're going to cap out at 40, 60, maybe 80 grand a year in an inner city situation. So the size of your audience is all that matters. Your message, your product, and your service is kind of irrelevant. If I can be totally honest, it is irrelevant when it comes to making money. The audience is what matters. Think about the Kardashians, for example. I was looking at their social media. I was researching social media experts the other day. Kardashians are in the hundreds of millions of followers. I mean, they have 68 million to 115 million followers. Their audience is enormous. The younger Jenner, I think her name is Kendall Jenner, is one of the richest, wealthiest fashion models today. Only because of her audience, not because of skill or looks. It's because she has an audience. So if you were a Revlon or a MAC cosmetic company, you're going to give her an 8-figure signing bonus and contract simply because when she posts about your product, she's going to get millions of people looking at your product. That is why celebrity endorsement works. That's the only reason why. Think about Nike. Nike spends billions of dollars a year on endorsements because they don't have to put ads on newspapers or in newspapers or on the radio or on TV because they have people who have huge audiences. So take what the billion-dollar companies are doing and implement it into your own career. If you focus on an audience and accessing an audience, we're talking instant money. And I'm going to show you how to do it on this call. There's 3 ways to get an audience. You can buy, you can build, or you can borrow. So if you're buying an audience, very costly, super expensive. This is billboard ads, radio ads, TV ads, newsprint ads, magazine ads, extremely expensive. This is before social media. This is a horrible ROI. It was bad on return on investment because let's say you put up a billboard. It's 15 grand to 25 grand a month. And they say, oh yeah, we got millions of cars who drive by every day who are going to see your billboard. Well, 1, are they looking at the billboard? Number 2, is your billboard converting? Number 3, is that billboard going to make them feel inspired to somehow find a pin while driving and write down the website or phone number they're supposed to call or go online? No. I had some clients of mine who piled some money together and put an ad at Times Square. Spent a lot of money. Didn't get any leads. Nobody cared. Though there's millions of people in Times Square on a regular basis, nobody cared. Too many things to look at. Too many bright and shiny objects. So buying an audience is very expensive. Building an audience. This takes a lot of time. So look at time, energy, and money. Time is building an audience. If you want to have a YouTube channel, a blog, a podcast, I've got a lot of clients and friends right now who are really doubling down in the podcast area. It takes a serious commitment. It means you got to create content weekly, if not daily. Now think about that. If you're creating content every day and no one's buying that content, you're giving away free to get an audience, it's very expensive. A lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of money. But the fastest, easiest, best way for you to generate sales is borrowing an audience. Now, well, think about it. If you're borrowing someone who already has an audience, there's massive leverageability. You're borrowing credibility. So for me, when I get on stage, somebody has already built a reputation with those customers. I come on stage, the accolades are preceding me. I come totally validated, and these people are ready to listen. That's by borrowing an audience. It's a one-to-many relationship. So if I'm on stage, I'm speaking to 200 to 2,000 people. Joint ventures. When you meet these influencers who have audiences, you will find new business opportunities you can create together. There's new businesses you can create. There's masterminds you can create with these individuals and massive connectivity. So I want you to realize that you can do this. Every company that starts does this. Borrowing an audience is the shortest distance to the money, to the X on the map. Look at Beats by Dre. When they started up, they were a young company. They didn't have the marketing budget of Bose or JVC. Currently, Bose has the contract with the NFL. So if you are going to buy that contract, it's in the tens of millions of dollars. So Beats didn't have that money. So what did they do? They started sending headphones, which are obviously a lot less expensive, to all the different players. The players loved Beats because of where it came from, who's involved in it, and they started wearing them on the field. Even though Bose had paid for the commercial advertisement, nobody cared. People started buying Beats because they saw athletes buying them. One of the best marketing ploys I've ever seen was at the Olympics, where JVC owned the contracts, paid tens of millions of dollars for the contract to be the official speaker of the Olympics. So what did Beats do? They didn't have the money. They went to the Olympics, and where all the athletes are staying, they rented a shop, and they had all these headphones in the different colors of the different countries. And they told the athletes, hey, if you take a picture with our headphones and post it on social media, we'll give you the headphones for free. Okay, think about an athlete. These guys, Olympic athletes, they're not NBA stars. They're there on their own dime, their parents' dime. So every one of them is coming in there, and they are getting their free headphones. And when you're watching the Olympics, all you see are different Beat headphones based off the country's color. It was, in my opinion, the best marketing ploy I have ever seen. They were intelligent. They were borrowing an audience. So you guys have access to audiences all around you. Let's look at Dean Kamen. Dean Kamen is the Thomas Edison of our generation. Phenomenal entrepreneur, phenomenal inventor, very successful individual. He invented the Segway. The Segway did not take off to the accolades that it did have originally. I mean, they really thought it was going to replace cars in the inner city, where people would literally just get on their little Segways and travel around town and go from their condos to their work, and there'd be no pollution. Well, it didn't happen that way. They just became a toy for the rich people, and that was about it. Then he realized he had this inspiration. He wanted to really help individuals. And he was reading a report about how the millions, 1 to 3 million, people die every year from malnutrition and bad water, from malaria to all the different diseases, because they just didn't have the right water. So he thought, okay, I need to create something. And he spent a lot of time developing what was called the slingshot, where you can take urine, you can take anything that has moisture in it, and it, with the solar panel, it basically cooks it, vaporizes it, and turns it into purified water. It's how when you're in the hospital, the medical water is, vaporized and it's purified to the highest level it can be. He could do that for villages around the world, but he just needed an audience. He needed to get into those countries. So he spent his time, his energy, and his money inventing this product. He went to the United Nations. He's a very well-connected individual. They all met with him from country to country, and they said, yeah, I see what you're doing. It's great. We would really love to have it. But we aren't boots on the ground. We can't get you into the villages. And he's like, what do you mean? You're here in the United Nations. How can you not get me into villages? It's like, because we deal on a different level. We don't deal with boots on the grounds. We deal with the political agendas and not in the actual villages. So he was frustrated. He thought, okay, who has that clout, that relationship? And he thought of Coca-Cola. The United Nations represents, I believe, 147 countries. Coca-Cola is in 250 countries. Enormous amount of clout and ability to get to the villages. You think about it, Coca-Cola, if you've ever been to Cancun or on any bus in any third world country, every little village has a Coca-Cola sign. So we met with the CEO of Coke. They loved the idea because they had a massive issue in India. In India, they had to shut down their plant because they didn't have purified water. They didn't have water good enough to make Coke. Which you think is kind of funny because Coke has so much carbonation and sugar, you think it'd pretty much kill whatever's in that water. But long story short, they closed the plant. And he's like, great, I've got the solution for you. We can make these on a commercial scale and give you guys purified water, but also on a small personal scale per village. And they said, we'd love to help you. One condition, we still need help with the problem we're having. He's like, fine, what can I do for you? I'd love to help. He said, you know what? We have an issue with the soda dispenser. The soda dispenser has been the same for the last 50 years. You've got 6 to 8 selections, carbonated syrup, and that's all that is. And he's like, okay. So he spent 18 months engineering, crafting, and coming up with what is now called the freestyle machine. So if any of you have ever been to a movie theater or a large restaurant, they have these freestyle machines that have 150 plus flavors in the same size as a normal soda dispenser. So what he did is he solved a problem for them, a problem that they had and they wanted solved. And that's the key. If you're going to access an audience, you got to make sure you're solving a problem that they want solved. He could have given them purified water. That he had done. But they had a personal problem. They wanted to update the soda dispenser. So that's exactly what he did. Now that freestyle machine is nationwide, worldwide. And now he is getting these slingshot pure water purifiers into villages around the world, saving lives. So remember this equation. Message, product, service times audience equals any amount of money you want to make. So make sure you're focusing on your audience. Whenever I start a new business, which is about every 18 months, I never think anymore, what is my logo? What is my website going to look like? What is my Excel spreadsheet? No, I instantly think, who has my audience? I will go interview that individual and figure out what problem their audience actually wants solved. So back to Dean Kamen, he had the water purification. He thought that's what Coke needed. No, what he really needed was to solve the problem they wanted solved, which was the soda dispenser. So when you start to solve people's problems based off the way they want it solved, you have an open door policy. They will let you in all the time. So once again, who has your ideal audience? And what can you do to create value for them? In essence, what problem do you solve? So right here, I want you to pause. I want you to pause this. I'm going to speak just for another minute, but then I want you to pause it. And the reason I want you to pause it is I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what problem do I solve? In the Renata education system, there is 400 hours of education. What problem do you solve? Think about your W-2 job, or if you have another entrepreneurial business. If you lay sod for a living, if you have a hydro seeding company, if you sell financial services, if you sell any other product, ask yourself, what problem do I solve? Make a list of, say, 10 problems you solve. So for those of you who are listening right now and you want to text me in the problem you solve, 951-973-3408, 951-973-3408. I want you to text me the problems that you solve. Some that are coming in right now, I see already. Financial freedom. Yes, you teach people financial freedom. Systems for education. There's another one. Yeah, so think about the drive. Lifestyle, community, systems, being admired, and proof. You solve those problems. Teaching people how to use their IRAs, their 401ks. Teaching people how to pay off their debt with velocity banking. Teaching people how to retire. These are enormous problems. These are problems that people spend millions of dollars on books and audio programs and coaches every single year. You're not solving a insignificant problem. You're solving a very significant problem. And that's important. When it comes to confidence, you need to know that the problem you're solving is life-altering for people. If you can sit down and teach someone how to be financially independent, you don't think that's going to have an impact on them? Not just them. What about the legacy play? What about their kids' kids? You look at people who've been very successful, and as soon as they've learned it, they share it with their children, which happens to be their next generation and the next generation. So what you are doing is you're solving generational problems. So go ahead and pause me right now. I really want you to take some time off. Spend 5, 10, 20 minutes and list all the problems that you solve. Now, if you unpause me, I'm going to teach you potential places to get audiences. So accountants, they are phenomenal. Accountants are an amazing place to find potential clients. Now, you can't just go in there and say, hey, I want to invite all your clients to a Thursday night meeting. No, interview your accountant. Find a local accountant, a friend, find 5 accountants. Interview them and ask them, what's the number one problem your client has? And then after you build a rapport with them and you find solutions for them based off the problems you've already listed, you can connect those two together. And that's where you build a really symbiotic relationship. Think about a lawyer. A lawyer knows what people are going through. They have a great rapport with their client base. Real estate brokers, they have a huge database. And so instead of thinking about a real estate broker as a competitor, think about them as a partner. If they sell a house one time, what else can they sell them? They can sell them real estate education. Entrepreneurial clubs, they're always looking for guest speakers. I had a Kendall Stock down in California. I taught him this concept, this principle in our one-on-one coaching. He went to a couple entrepreneurial clubs for about 3 weeks. They then asked him to speak on topic. He taught velocity banking and invited the group to come down to a a Saturday home tour. By Tuesday, he sold 2 Extreme Plus combos. All because he created value first, solved a problem for that club, and then invited those people to participate. Same thing on real estate clubs. Do some training, learn to be a professional speaker, solve problems. Masterminds, developing your own mastermind. I'm going to give you guys a bonus today. Something that I was not planning on teaching, but one of my clients in Seattle brought this up and asked me about how do you create a mastermind? How do you solve problems and build your own mastermind? So I'm actually going to walk you through the process I've used for 13 years on how to build very profitable, very successful masterminds. Financial planners. I put this one in red. They are not someone you can go to. Here's why. If their client has an extra $10,000 or $20,000 to invest, they're not going to have them invest in your product. So when you are finding the right professionals to tap into their audience, you got to make sure it helps their company. So let's look at my relationship with Renatus. I don't sell real estate education. I don't upsell anything other than my training to help you be better at your job. Bob Snyder and I sat down over 5 years ago. He said, Woody, I've had speakers come in and this is what they do. And this is unacceptable. I said, fine, I will never do that. And that is emailing and selling you guys other products. I don't do that. When you're done with our mastermind, I don't email you. I don't market XYZ products. I will only sell a product that will help you be better at your current job and your current position in Renatus. If I was selling you on how to leave Renatus to do something else, one, that'd be totally unprofessional, but it'd be disrespectful to the Bob who brought me in. And how long do you think I'd be able to stay? A day, and I'd be gone, probably with a lawsuit behind me. So this is why when you're going in, be very strategic to solve their problem, not to share your solution that you have. Figure out what the problem is and solve it. All right, so here's a bonus. I want to teach you how to conduct and have your own mastermind. So we're on mastermind calls now. I ask you guys to text in answers and questions, and we go with some Q&A and things like that. But what I really want to teach you is how you can partner with strategically successful individuals. So number one is you got to choose the right people. Ideally, you want members with opinions you respect, whose work you admire, and who you trust. So how do you find the right people? First of all, you got to identify how many you need. You need ideally 6 to 8 people, no more. How do you go find them? Find people you want to do business with, people you admire, people you respect. I like to find people outside my industry. Now, it can be a crossover, but I would not go to have a mastermind of 6 to 8 professional speakers. That wouldn't do me any good. So in a mastermind that I'm currently in, I have two guys who are social media influencers. One has over 900 million views on his social media account. The other one has about 650 million views. And one lives in Puerto Rico, the other one lives here in the United States. These guys are major influencers. So they're teaching me and helping me understand social media where otherwise I wouldn't. The other benefit is I am helping them to teach them how to coach groups of people in a mastermind setting like this. I'm teaching them how to sell from the stage. So we're helping one another solve each other's business problems. So once again, the important reason why you need to list what solution do you provide or what problem you solve is when you go to and bring people into the mastermind, you need to have confidence. Like, hey, I'm going to teach you guys and your clients how to pay off the debt faster. I'm going to teach you guys how to buy, fix, and flip properties. I'm going to teach you all these things that you already know. So go on to Renatus, go in the back office, master one or two videos, and that becomes the solution you have to solve people's problems. Number 3, decide on a meeting time and a format. Popular formats are every other week or once a month. My mastermind and we meet once a month. We try to always meet the exact same date and the same time. So I can go out in my schedule 12 months out and say, 23rd of the month, at this time, I am meeting for 2 hours. When you find these people and you start to create solutions for them, what happens is their Rolodex explodes for you and your benefit. So in my mastermind, now that I've done it, this new mastermind, I've had multiple masterminds. In fact, I've always had a mastermind, a personal one for me. And here's the other secret. You're never selling them. So the people in your mastermind, you are never selling them your service. Never. I want to be very clear on that. You're creating value for them. You solve their problems, they will open up their Rolodex to you. I have one person in my mastermind. I've made over 6 figures with his audience. He has never paid me a dime. I've helped him on his books, his speeches. His first speech, I helped him make 45 grand on. I'm helping him speak in February. I'm speaking for him in February. He was at the Castle Retreat with me. I mean, these guys are heavy hitters. I've never traded money with them. They've never traded money with me, but we make great deals of money in serving each other's audiences. Number 4, develop a formal agenda. Set a schedule and stick to it so that your meetings are as productive as possible. Nothing worse than to have a mastermind meeting where everyone's just positioning and not solving problems. So here's how you address the logistics. Here's how I do it in my masterminds. We do 15-minute intervals. Everybody has 15 minutes. The first 5 minutes is for you to talk about the problem you have. And you only choose one problem. You're not trying to solve 20 problems. You're just trying to solve one problem that month. Then you give 10 minutes to the rest of them, so about 2 minutes each, to give you solutions on how you can solve your problem. Once again, these are high net individuals, high influencers. You better be taking notes. Nothing worse than in a mastermind when people aren't taking notes. We're going around the horn and everyone's talking about, oh, you can do this, you can do this. Like, yep, okay, thanks, and no one's writing it down. So that's how you create and build your own custom masterminds. If you have any questions, email me or text me about that. I'd be happy to answer any additional information. Now, I'm going to give you a couple other bonuses just for fun because these are things I like with human behavior and influencing. Let's say you're putting on an event. It could be a Thursday night, a Tuesday night. Here are some simple seating arrangements that will absolutely influence people's emotions. So round tables make people feel you want them to be included. So we just got rid of our living room furniture and we bought a round table. Think of Knights of the Round Table. Everyone in a round table feels included because they're looking at everyone else. An L-shaped or square-shaped table helps people promote their selfish desires, things that they want to have. So if you're going to have a mastermind, try to find a round table. If you want people to buy more of your product, do a rectangle or L-shaped table. This is a phrase I'm sure you've heard 1,000 times. Dress for success. You'll find a 350% increase of people will follow someone in a nicely pressed suit jaywalking than when they're in street clothes. There's a case study done. I even saw this personally when I was in San Diego. I was with Bob Snyder. We're at the airport. There's 600 people on the road waiting to cross. It's a red, and we're at the airport, and this guy in a nice suit just goes beeline straight across. Instantly, we all follow subconsciously. Halfway through, I hit Bob and said, look at it. We're following the guy in the suit. And he just started laughing. There have been countless case studies done. Dress to be addressed. Wear the clothes that you would want to wear for people to address you. And you will instantly notice people will pay more attention to you. Here's a simple, fun one if you're doing social media. Where to stand in a picture. Stand in the center. Looking at this picture right now, if I were to ask you, who is the leader of this group, you're going to say it's the guy in the tie. He is standing in the center of the picture. Our minds and our eyes are drawn to the center. So if you want to be considered in the picture, if you want to be considered the leader, always stand at the center. So you guys, thank you so much for this call today. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you for being part of the Mastermind. We've got one final call next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Appreciate it a ton. Take care. We will talk soon.